Hey, Melanie Phillips here of the Midori Method. I was reflecting on something that happened a couple of weeks ago. I was doing a book launch in Victoria, British Columbia, and the next day I was coming home on the ferry. About halfway through that ferry ride, I thought to myself, where are my car keys and the key to my apartment? And I realized I didn't have them. So that's not the point of the story. The point of the story is I called a tow truck, and he was going to meet me on the Vancouver side where my car was parked and tow my car back about an hour to my apartment. And I called my friend, and she was going to mail my keys to me. They would come the next day. So this young man, the tow truck driver, picked me up, cigarette hanging out of his mouth, big work boots on, kind of gruff on the outside, but I didn't buy into that facade. He was super kind of soft-hearted. And within literally 2 minutes, we were driving. I was asking him about how long he's been a tow truck driver, what he really wanted to be doing, and he mentioned how he wanted to be a police officer. I was like, why? And he looked at me and said, my brother was murdered. My brother was murdered, and the police in the town that he was murdered in literally didn't do anything to find justice, didn't do anything even though they were pretty sure who the murderer was. There was no justice. So he wanted to be a police officer and do well by his brother. It ended up being that it was his twin brother that was murdered. And this tow truck driver must have been, I think he was about 21 years old. And we sat in silence, and I asked him about his pain, and I asked him about his anger, and he just opened up in the most beautiful way, telling me the story of his brother's murder, of his life, of the anger issues he does have. And it reminded me, this interaction reminded me that nothing is a mistake. It reminded me that I may have been, for a moment, thinking, God, how did I leave my keys at my friend's house? How ridiculous of me. And what I came to see very quickly was that I needed to have that conversation with that young man. We needed to connect, our paths needed to cross, and the universe beautifully set up an interaction where he could share with me, I could listen, and it reminded me that we're all suffering, and it reminded me that everyone's got a story. Some people have stories of deep pain and trauma. Some people have fun, uplifting stories, and a combination of all of that in our lives. I left that interaction just so deeply connected, and my faith was restored that I'm always in the exact right place. I'm always exactly where I need to be, speaking to the people that I need to speak to, listening to the people that I need to listen to, that everything's okay, that it's all okay, and that the more and more I surrender to trusting in the flow of life and letting go of me thinking that I know why things are happening or why they're not happening, to simply step back and surrender into the beautiful dynamic tapestry of this existence. It's really miraculous and wondrous. So I wanted to share that with you, perhaps as a reminder to you that you are in exactly the right place that you need to be in, even if it looks messy and confused and who knows, right? Yeah. Okay. Hope this helps. Wishing you a beautiful day. Ciao.